Welcome to the channel. I'm Henny Pauli and we're looking at a pedal today. Now, okay, so pedals are regressive in a way, as I think that's the word. They're not being bought as much as a couple years ago. So it is a bit interesting, let's put it this way, that a brand new pedal company out of Nashville decides to launch with a rather broad range of, I would say, affordable pedals. Not budget, but for what they are. I mean, I've got one on the table that I can judge. I don't know about the others. They might not be as good, but who knows. But for what they are, rather fairly priced. Let's put it this way. In a market where pedals are not being bought that much, maybe wrong timing, who knows, but maybe they're so good that at those price points, they could have something. Full disclosure, this video is being sponsored technically by Thorn, who are doing it for the distributor, who are doing it for the brand. So who's paying for this? I don't know. They all have an interest in me saying the most positive things about the pedal. I have an interest to say the truth about the pedal to you because you're the one buying it and I don't want you to buy the wrong thing that you don't need. However, luckily, it's just good. I mean, I love it when that happens and I really have nothing negative to say. And then you're going to say, well, you paid. Of course, you'll have positive stuff to say. But what if stuff is just good? You like calling us paid chills, but what if stuff just is good and fairly priced and flexible? And in the box comes Velcro and rubber and warranty cards and a manual in German and English. And what if that it's just good? Let's look in the box and see if it's maybe just good. Yes, so again, am I a paid chill if I'm telling the full truth, but the full truth is positive? What can I do? Do you want me to find stuff deliberately and make stuff up? Oh, the pedal sucks because it's green. I don't like it because it's green. You haven't even seen it. Or let's, here you go. So sometimes for these relatively easy drive pedals, I don't do a full song, but I kind of felt really inspired and wanted to check it out in all of its glory. And what can it do? Can it do rhythm? Can it do leads? Oh my God, can it do leads? So I did do a track, but I thought, let's do one of actually my favorite songs, playing on the radio when the DJs. Yeah, that's part of the lyrics. One of my favorite songs. Every rose has its thorn. Leslie up there hates it. But here's an up-tempo fun punk version of that song. And yes, I'm singing with the help of Sound ID Voice AI, but there's going to be a video about that later.
We both lie silent and still within the dead of the night. Although we both lie close together, we feel miles apart inside. Was it something I said or something I did? Did my words not come out right? Though I tried not to hurt you, though I tried, but I guess that's why I say every rose has its thorn. saying love's the game of things come and easy go. But I wonder, does he know? Has he ever felt like this? And I know that you'd be here right now if I couldn't let you know somehow. I guess every rose has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn, just like every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Though it's been a while now, I can still feel so much pain, like a knife that cuts in a wound heals, but the scar remains. I know I could have saved the love that night if I'd known what to say. Instead of making love, we both made our separate ways. And now I hear from somebody new, and that I never meant that much to you. To hear that tears me up inside, to see you cuts me like a knife. I guess every rose has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn, just like every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn.
So you want to tell me that those sounds were not freaking phenomenal? Those leads, you know how easy it is to dial in those leads? Super easy. Here you go. So that's the pedal. There you go. Very green. It's called Bad Catch. I have no idea why. It's a flex drive. It is a flex drive. It's very flexible. As I was playing with it in the track, I did not know what damping and headroom does. I just fiddled with it till it sounded good. And it's so easy to make it sound good. Actually, it's almost impossible to not sound good. So generally, 9 to 18 volts, you want more headroom, feed it 18, we're doing 9. In and out on the top, and we have a, of course, camera showing you all that stuff. There's not a lot to see here. There's an in, there's an out, there's the little thing there, for the power thing, 9 to 18 volt. Okay, nothing on the sides. This is the size of the pedal. It's of course bigger because we have these really beautiful vintagey style knobs. It's a solid box in beautiful green. Other boxes from them are not green. Thorn Sound Labs, they're from Nashville. I assume at that price point, it is made in China. Don't nail me down on that. Maybe I'll put a title here once I research that. I could pick up the pedal and look at the box. Yeah, let's do that. For a second there, I'm pretty sure Leslie wanted to kill me because she cuts these pedals out so beautifully. So, yes, it is made in China. I think very fairly priced, designed in the US, marketed in the US. It's a whole different marketing budget, whole different thing. So, what do we have? On off goes green. Makes sense, green pedal. Let's look at these. Symmetry, in and out. So you can change the symmetry of the distortion. What does it do? We'll find out. It's subtle, but it's there. That's why it's a flex drive, not just a drive. Class AB and Class A. Well, that obviously is a power amp topology for tube amps. Class A, more dynamic, more open, more dense and saturated. I have no idea. Maybe. We'll find out. Again, it's subtle, but subtle here and subtle there could add up to less subtle, more options. Drive, we all know what that does. Okay? Can it do slightly edge of breakup? Well, if you're here with the headroom, no, it can't, which is where I was most of the time. But here, maybe it can. So drive and headroom. Headroom is kind of your base level for distortion, right? So here, the least distortion, and here, the most distortion, meaning this can't go as low as it could go over here. So this is where we start. So set your bass level with the headroom and then dial it in with drive. Damping, for me, would actually mean top end, which it isn't. It is bass response. So all the way to the left, the most bass response, and the tightest to the right. Tightest in the sense of this is a metal pedal? No, it isn't. I don't think it is. This is rock and frickin' roll all the way through, which is why I'm also using this Friedman Metro D, which is one of the most frickin' rock and roll axes I have. Yes, it's a set neck, but no, it's not a Les Paul. This is all the, it's a rock and roll beast. So we're gonna start there with the most possible bass. Volume is how much loudness comes out. This is an EQ, which is interactive. And then presence, you can tame the top end. I like top end. So we're going to start here. Get it? Good. We're going into, for now, the amp that is hidden by the pedal, the Tone King Imperial on the clean channel. It's the most rounded clean I can imagine. Super balanced. Perfect. We have the tiniest bit of reverb from the H90 by Eventide. And we engage. Not like getting married, but you know. Duller, rounder. I would want more top end. That setting definitely made for the bridge pickup, but now it's really waking up. Creaminess, roundness is always king here. So I'm going to take some bass out. Now less bass is hitting the distortion and we actually get more top end. See? Drastic. So you want tighter and less woolliness, go right on the damping. See, now we're there. Let's explore the switches. Actually, let's get a little bit more headroom in there. Which is essentially dialing up gain in addition to the drive. There is a tackiness, but there's always this cream, this smoothness. I honestly love playing this. It's not in the way. It's not hard to play. It helps you. gets fuzzy. Okay, it is massively subtle, but the symmetry in is a bit woolier, a bit creamier, whereas out gives me 5% more articulation. Let's explore that with more gain later. We're gonna leave it out. I like that more. And now Class A and Class AB. Three 3% more open and articulate on Class A. But what do I know? Super subtle. Let's crank up headroom. Honestly, that is what I expect from a JCM 800. That kind of feel, that kind of feedback, that kind of rock and roll. I mean, I might be completely off, but I have a modified by Marshall JCM 800 there with the mods off at the moment, but gain cranked. I mean... Okay, the bad cache, I was going to say hard cache, also a good name, is smoother. But the rock and rollability, it reminds me of it, but maybe in a more smoothed out way. More mid-push. Oh, wait a second. Back to the pedal. See what I'm getting at? Yeah, the JCM's got a bit more of the top end. I mean, and that's, $3,000 of amp. It's $169 a pedal into a €2,800 amp. That creaminess is just ridiculous. So with all the damping, that's that's what you probably want to use if you're using it as a boost into something like the JSM to get the low end handled. Okay, let's crank up more drive. Leads are just so beautiful, and the mids are off right now. The switches, who knows, really. So we're cracking the mids now. We're adding effects. And this is really where it's at. Range of sounds, all with that creaminess built in. I just honestly love playing that thing. Sadly, it's got to move on to Bernd Kills for him to do a review, and that isn't even staying here, which is, I get a lot of pedals, and sometimes it's like, yeah, okay, move on, what do I care? This hurts a bit. You could just buy one. Can cover literally every setting there. I do want more headroom, a little bit less bass, to keep the EQ kind of centered. We're going to go into a bunch of amps, and then we're out of here, and Leslie and my mom and I, we're going to go have ice cream, because it's really hot today, which is why you're seeing my hairy frickin' legs, because, it's too hot to pants. Let's go into the modified by Marshall Plexi, which I set up without listening, to be a little bit more clean. Apparently not. You gotta push the right button on the Mortrix MIDI switcher, which gives me also a great, little chance to talk about the Mortrix MIDI switcher. When you push Plex, what happens is the Friedman Plex is active. When you push 1959, and can you see the colors? Look, the colors on this thing change because that's the Mortrix mood light. Kind of cool to have that under your pedal board and see from across the stage what preset you're on. Cool. There's the 1959 by Marshall Plex, which is a pretty damn phenomenal amp. Spanky. Too much low end? Okay, dialing this back a bit. Here's the JCM 800 cooking already, as you can hear from all the noise. So the bad cache in conjunction with the 800. Thank you, Leslie. We're not there yet. One second. The bad cache in conjunction with the 800 is really just a give me more 800 pedal. It didn't change the feel of that amp at all, made it a bit more dense and more gain. Who doesn't like more gain? Now, Leslie, please, the amp wall. There is the blue amp on the top right with a red light on it, and that's the Amplified Nation Bombshell Overdrive, which is a Dumble style amp. It's really an overdrive special just from Amplified Nation. Where am I? That's what I wanted, an A7. Not A1 like some cabinet secretary said. We want an A7. Six better than A1. If you don't know that reference, look it up! I get really woolly here. Interesting. That's a cool sound. Let's find out some effects. And we're done. Make it big, Leslie. Thank you. The back cash from Thorn, not boutique priced, $169 or $159, whatever it is massively fair. Symmetry and Class A are subtle. You want to learn what headroom and drive does. You want to learn more headroom, less drive. What does that result in? Less drive, more headroom, or really just crank them both. And then the damping can beautifully get the low end out so that you can drive a already driven amp and still have low end response and tightness. As I said before, pedal market is tough right now. For a new company to come on the market, they have to really convince you. So price point shouldn't be ridiculous because right now people are not spending money on pedals. The price point isn't ridiculous. Is it something that hasn't been done before? I don't care. It's just good. Is it a tube screamer? Really not. Is it an amp style pedal? I don't think so. Does it really remind me of an 800 but with a lot more possibilities? Yes. Is it therefore an amp style pedal? No. It's just creamy, thick, beautiful for these 80s power chords and singing, screaming leads. From blues to hard rock and 80s metal, not modern metal. It's not aggressive enough for that. It's too creamy. But it does a lot. I cannot fault it at actually anything. Packaging, stuff that's in the box, price, looks. I cannot see a single thing wrong with it. And if you know my channel, that doesn't happen a lot. Now, did that happen because I got paid? Well, if it did, then every single review should be devoid of criticism. And if you know my channel, that's not the case. I bitch about the tiniest bullshit. If I can find it, I will talk about it. Because I'm honest here. It makes me look bad that this is so good. That's a fact. Links below, please use them. That supports the channel. Subscribe, that supports the channel. Leave a like. Trust me, that supports the channel in some YouTube algorithm way. So just be kind. We need more of that in the world nowadays. Animals at the end.